So people often ask us what we eat, how do we keep our meals interesting, and most importantly, do we make keto replacement stuff? Hello, Wellness Warriors. Welcome to Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. I'm Violet.
And I'm Pat.
We make these educational videos to help you guys improve your physical and mental health. What are we talking about today, Pat?
Meals that we do, but how we adapted them for keto. And all of them are super low carbs. So
I think the first thing I'm going to point out is that every time someone asks me for a meal plan, for a food list, for everything, I say no. And the reason I say no, and it's a basic reason, and even though we're going to do this video today, I still want every wellness warrior to think about this. We're probably going to give you 5 to 10 things that we make, and if you don't like what I'm giving you on the list, what are you going to do? We all need to be able to try new foods, try new spices, try new combinations, and figure out what's going to work for us. And even though we eat these things, how often do I just have a piece of pork and a salad or a veg, avocado, and that's my meal? Like 90% of the time.
Sure. Most of the stuff that we have on the list is more, I would say, is more like for weekends when we're the 5 of us together, for example, and we're going to do something for the kids and adapt the stuff for us. So it's not like everyday meals, like you said. Like 80% of the time, it's going to be a salad with meat in it, or an avocado and some cheese and meat. But there's some stuff that here that can give you ideas.
And I want to add to that, our kids have gotten very used to eating our normal meal, a piece of meat and some vegetables, right? But on the weekends, we let them choose, and then we adapt for ourselves.
So let's start with burgers. That's a pretty easy one. One of my son now eats Caesar salad with his burger more than fries, so that's very, very good. But sometimes he's gonna eat fries. So the burgers and fries for us, the way we adapted it, basically we ditched the fries for sure. Obviously, but the burgers are a really easy thing to adapt. You just basically replace the buns with lettuce leaves. So
whatever condiments that you put in, just making sure that you don't put too much of something that's going to kick you out, and that they have the right oils in them. For example, if you're using mayonnaise or something, that is made with healthy oils.
If you're used before to have ketchup or and even the sweet relish, some stuff the ketchup we ditched and we don't have it. Barbecue sauce is even worse than ketchup, so careful with that. But mayonnaise is a good, it's a 0 carb option, and we do put a little bit, I think, of sweet relish, really
and mustard.
And mustard is a good option too. And there's even restaurants now that can deliver, because we're still in that mode here, that deliver, we can access the restaurant, so they deliver a burger with lettuce leaves.
Okay, the next one we have on the list is meat and cauliflower rice versus
cauliflower.
rice. Okay, so I mean, honestly, I think cauliflower has become, I didn't used to like cauliflower before, but I've learned to like cauliflower, and I've actually avocado and cauliflower I've fallen in love with in this new journey, just because they're so healthy, and they especially cauliflower, you can adjust it to taste like so many things. Like cauliflower rice kind of gives you that feeling as if you're eating rice. Cauliflower mash makes you feel like you're eating mashed potatoes. It's very flexible, cauliflower.
Even made the once a shepherd's pie that so basically you have your layer of meat, the regular one, you have corn, you replace the corn with a better vegetable, I think the time I did it was with broccoli, and the mashed potatoes, you replace it with mashed cauliflower.
So that was a bonus one, actually.
So yeah but variations. Third one, pizza versus pizza. Because when the kids have pizza, we oftentimes have pizza. So, but she's the pizza master.
Well, one of the things I like about pizza is you can either have it with the traditional fathead dough, which I still found was a bit carby and or you could do a fully meat dough. We use chicken, but I'm sure that I think I've seen also that you can use other meats, but we use chicken just because it's easy. But so it's basically an all meat. So you're having a carnivore day. Well, there's cheese on it.
There's cheese on it, a little bit of
I usually
sauce.
don't put any vegetables on mine, but sometimes you do. So it's not really a carnivore day, but it's more of a meat heavy meal which means the other piece of that is that you tend to eat a smaller portion. Like I remember when we used to go to the restaurant to do pizza, like Lord, what we were able to eat versus like the small pizza that we eat now.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a huge, and even sometimes we still can't finish the small pizza that we make for ourselves
because
now.
the dough is
But
like really heavy.
It's all chicken.
Yeah, it's all
Right. So it's like,
chicken.
so
yeah,
that's
totally.
another positive way that we've modified. But the fathead dough can work too. And I think we actually tried
The pork rinds.
cauliflower
Oh, yeah.
dough as well, and pork rind dough.
Mhm.
The pork rinds, when we found the right kind of pork rinds, I did find that I liked that too. It's just more involved. Honestly, an all meat pizza is so easy to make, like so easy that it's my go-to. Lazy cook. It's my go-to because it's just easy.
Another family favorite, like tacos. So we just like replace the taco shells, either hard or soft, with either lettuce leaf or cabbage leaves.
Yep.
So
I have to say, I kind of prefer the cabbage leaves, but they're so tricky to get the right
the right cooking.
cooking tenderness. If it's too hard, it's not great, and if it's too floppy, then it just breaks. So the lettuce leaves are actually the easiest way. I think we usually use romaine when we do lettuce leaves. When we do cabbage leaves, we usually use green cabbage. So we make our own spice to make sure that there's no sugar in the spice.
Yeah, go find
And as a
recipes
matter of
online.
fact, the kids love the spice that we make.
Yep.
And I don't even know if they noticed that it's just a different spice that we were using.
Yeah, because be careful, like on those little like pre-made pouches with the spice, it's like horrible the amount of sugar they put in there. So yeah,
I'm just
tacos
trying
is
to
a
think,
good,
is there anything? Usually we have rice on the side for the kids, but we don't bother making cauliflower rice for that meal. Although we do have avocado on the side usually too. One of the most common meals that we actually have is meat and some kind of side. Like that's
mostly our sides are Caesar salad. I
Yeah.
would say we love Caesar salad. We can I think we cannot get like
enough.
but enough of that. The avocado. I sometimes like eat it like that, just like peel it, cut it, and eat it like that. But most of the time we do a guacamole with it.
Yep.
So we just like and you like your guacamole with cheese. You actually bake little pieces of cheese to make crisps, and I use pork rinds, like for me as a dipping. Like so there's like almost no carbs in those options.
Yeah. So obviously it's like well known already that Violet doesn't like to cook. So a lot of my sides are things that don't take long to make. Like I feel like the avocado with the cheese crisps, like that's probably the longest thing that I do. Then I have like olives with or without cheese on with it.
We
I-
discovered our artichoke hearts. like,
Artichoke
not so
hearts,
long
which
ago.
again is just out of a container. Like
Yeah.
so it's like it's not a big
And I was
thing.
surprised, like it's one piece is one carb minus one fiber. So like if you do net carbs, they're almost perfect size.
Yeah, I don't believe that, but I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
they're overestimating. But still, it's a nice diversion to have once in a while.
Yeah.
See the artichoke hearts. I think the other thing that I like to do is broccoli, like fried or in the oven, or those are nice options.
Yeah.
Trying to think, and of course salad. I mean, like we've said, like we like salad and we like avocado.
Yeah.
I think what we don't do often is cauliflower rice or mash, or it's not often.
Mhm.
Although I do like it when we do it. But these options, I think most important for you guys to think about is what time I'm willing to put into the kitchen. So like when I was trying to make my keto lifestyle work for me, I also took a lot of time, which is something I encourage everybody to do. Try new vegetables. And then how can I spice these vegetables? And how can I do something that I will actually do it over and over? When I started my keto life, I was cooking a lot. I was making vegetables in the pressure cooker and all the stuff that I was doing. I don't know if you remember that. I was having vegetables every single day. I was hitting those numbers that Dr. Berg talked about of how many cups and whatever. I was doing all of that. And the truth of the matter is it allowed me to get to the point where I felt really good. And I also learned that it wasn't as necessary as I thought it was. And that's fine. I think, like I've said a bunch of times, Dr. Berg saying, you can do this, allowed me to know I wasn't going to be hungry. I'm not hungry anymore, like excessively hungry. When it's time for supper, it's time. But I'm not, I'm not having 3 meals a day either.
Yeah.
So I feel like knowing how to eat the things that are going to help you to feel good and still be in line with the kids sometimes. We don't actually, when we go to restaurants, you'd be surprised how easy it is to do what we just did here at home in restaurants, right? Like, we will go to a restaurant, look at the menu, we'll sit there for a little while, and the waiter will come and will say, we want, from number 2, we want that, and from number 3, we want that, and then from 16, we want that in one meal. And honestly, I think it is so worth it, whatever upcharge they're going to charge me, that I ate what felt healthy to me. And I can't guarantee the oils and the whatever that they have in the back, but if I'm in a restaurant to eat anyways, I'd rather have picked the things that had the least possibility to make me sick. And I think you have a good, easy time with that too.
Yeah, totally. Like even last night, there's a restaurant we do a takeout now because all the restaurants were closed in Montreal, and like the number of things, like I think they're probably like they're almost like recognizing my voice now because like the order is really quick to put on the phone. But
the number of removals.
But like it's basically like it's a Greek place, so two donor plates. We don't have the rice and potatoes. We just take the salad. Violet, we take out the tomatoes and the onions. Me, I like the tomatoes and I don't have a problem with them, so I take out the onions. And that's it. Like it's a good
no bread,
very low carb keto meals. Meal. So keto meal.
So these are things that we can actually do, and it's not hard, right? It's just it's putting your mind around what is my goal. What am I trying to accomplish? I do understand wanting to eat as a family, and I do understand that for some people, eating as a family means a lot, that we're eating the same thing. It's never meant that for me because of like my food restrictions anyway, so that's never been on the top of my list that I need to eat what they're eating. As long as we're eating at the same time, I'm cool with that. But for those of you who want to eat what they're eating, there are ways that you might be able to make it work, but I want to caution you, be careful when you're doing that you're not picking off their plates.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right? Like, we never touch our kids' food. Like, they have what they're eating, and we take the parts that are for us. So it's important for you to think about that too.
We save the best for last because your daughter actually loves that, and it's one of the few meals she have a relatively lot of meat, and it's like butter chicken. So just find, actually I think by definition butter chicken is relatively keto friendly, but you can go online and find your keto butter chicken, but like basically it's just chicken, like butter, cream, and the spices, and you end up with a really good meal. We do the rice, like we said earlier, for the kids. We do the cauliflower rice for us, and we even have like a little recipe where the kids will have regular naan bread, and I do a keto naan bread with coconut flour. So it's a really good meal.
Yeah. And I have to say, again, all 3 children love that meal. There's so many ways to do this and do it right. I mean, honestly, like, I don't believe that there's anything in any suppers, I should say. I don't believe that there are any suppers that we were not able to modify so that we could all eat the same meal. And at the same time, we brought our kids towards eating more low carb / keto friendly suppers. Actually, I'd say keto friendly suppers like a lot of the time, and low carb for the times that they're not having a keto friendly supper. They still have normal lunches. They still have normal breakfast. Again, we're never trying to give you the impression that our kids are keto. They are not. You know, being introduced to it at the age of, I think, 14, that was far for them to be where we are. But like you said, like, we already see the benefit for 2 of them, that they are making very different choices about their food. And it's obvious that they have an understanding of what healthy is, and to me that's worth everything.
Oh yeah, sure.
Right? So if you want to bring your kids, if you want to bring your kids and your family more in line with what you're eating, I think one of the best things to do is, rather than trying to force them to eat what you're doing, just slowly introducing things that they actually are going to like anyway. You know, like, I can't imagine who doesn't like Caesar. I'm sure there are people that don't like Caesar salads, but it's my favorite salad on the planet. But like, slowly introducing them to some of the things that can make a healthy meal, and then you'll be interested to see how they're not as afraid of it, right? As I've seen some people be afraid of it.
Totally. funny enough, one thing that completely disappeared from our eating lifestyle are all the baking we used to do at the beginning. I remember we used to have like burgers with keto, like the mug bread, and even like some keto dessert. Like these are like completely disappeared.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. That's true. Like, I think outside of the once or twice a year, so your birthday and my birthday, probably maybe a holiday.
Even your last birthday, I remember I just
You
had
brought
a
me,
little
yeah.
cup with nuts.
Yeah, so like, I mean, honestly, like, I'm trying to think like how often if we have 5 times a year, and I think I'm going really high because I think last year it was like 3, but if we have 5 times a year where some kind of keto something is being baked, that's like super large for us. Because even when we're celebrating something, you were usually celebrating it with a meal.
Mhm.
So either going to the restaurant that we like or making a meal that we all like, but like it's not about cake or whatever. So yeah, it's interesting that you're saying that. I used to bake, oh my goodness, peanut butter cookies. I
Mhm.
used to make the
Yeah, you.
mug bread like you're talking about, and I even not even just mug bread, all kinds of different loaves. When I was trying to figure out what's the best bread to
Yeah.
make, what was the other thing that I was making? Oh, cheesecake,
Cheesecake. Yeah.
peanut butter tarts, and lava cakes, and oh my
Yeah.
goodness, all kinds of things that so weird that you realize later on like that I didn't even need to be doing these things.
Yeah.
I still have keto friendly ingredients in my cupboard that are
Yeah.
probably gonna end
That's
up getting,
spoiling.
well, hopefully they don't spoil, but
Yeah.
at the same time I hope they
But
spoil.
funny enough, they just like progressively like we lost interest in those dessert replacement.
But I don't think it's funny. What I think is that at some point you really do start to understand that food is not entertainment. And like even though we gather around meals, which is why like there these meals that we still do is like about being at the table, 5 of us eating, right? And that's why these meals exist. But we do not celebrate around food. So, and let's like, I think it's interesting to point this out. Like in the morning, like each of the kids are gonna go and eat whenever they're ready. When they feel
Mm-hmm.
hungry, they go and eat, right? And the same thing with lunch. Like you can have one that's eating there and one that's eating there. Like is when they feel hungry, they go and eat.
Yeah.
Like supper, yes, we do. We try our best to do together. And honestly, that's usually an exercise in figuring out like how much longer can you wait because that one's not ready yet, right? Like trying to coordinate ourselves that we're kind of doing it at the time that matches everybody. Because the truth is, there isn't a real schedule for eating in our house, right? Like there's an expectation that you're going to eat when you're hungry, and the amount of snacking has so dramatically decreased because we've allowed the kids to do this. So the other thing I think is pretty cool is like they really don't have that much in between stuff anymore, like compared to when we first before we started doing any of this. Like they were having snacks like it was nothing to see them going to the kitchen to get a cookie or this or that. It was like constant. And I can honestly say all 3 of them in that case, it's different. It's not like that anymore. All 3 of them. We still have our one sweet tooth dude.
Yeah.
But seriously, it's like nowhere near what it used to be. Because I think even him, he's starting to understand in between the meals, like it's just like he's not trying to get anything anymore. So like that's amazing. That's not amazing, but it's cool. It's cool to see, right? That there's some level of entertainment is other things, right? And then they play board games, they play video games, they talk to their friends. Like they actually do other things to entertain themselves, which is great. And I want all the wellness warriors to think about that. What are the things that you're doing to entertain yourself? And have you been able to remove food as one of the things that you're using to entertain yourself? Right? So these are things to think about.
Yeah.
So there are some videos on the screen right here that are going to help you to improve your mental and physical health. Wellness warriors, always so happy that you guys are back. I want to thank you for watching Mind Blowing Health and Wellness with Violet, Pat Chat Edition. Can't wait to talk to you guys again next week.
Talk to you next week.